Ramon Morin, English teacher, 26 years.
Did you go to school here?
I did. I graduated in 1987 from this high school. So I was here from 83 through 87.
What activities do you remember that we don't have now?
Well, I mean, it's typical high school. So there's football, there's volleyball, there's all of that. But from what I remember most about playing football was not so much the games. I couldn't tell you much about the games. I mean, I could tell you we lost all the time. But I remember how awesome the fans were. We would come on Fridays, and our lockers that were in A wing, our lockers would be completely decorated. All the football players' lockers would be decorated. The girlfriends would decorate them, or just friends of ours would decorate everything, you know. So all of that, you know, that was neat. It was really cool, you know, to go through all that. We even had, during basketball season, we had something called the 7:30 Lunatics. And a lot of us would get together, and it was about 25, 30 of us, and we'd go to the basketball games, and we'd sit in a section, and we were just wild and cheered everybody on, especially our friends. And one of my friends that we cheered on all the time, graduated with me, is an algebra teacher here, Mario Garcia. So we would always cheer him on to make sure that they put him in all the time, because our basketball teams were very good. You know, we had district champions, and we had, you know, back then. And so all of those things were awesome. After local football games, we had what we called victory dances. And every Friday from the game, everybody came to the school, and we had a dance till 1 a.m. You know, and it was packed. You know, those were just really good times that we used to have here. Yeah, and those things are long gone. None of that is done. There used to be ribbons that we would buy for 25 cents. And let's say we were playing Del Rio, and the ribbon just said, "Beat the Rams." And students would come up to us, friends would come up, and they would sign it for us. I still have a whole mess of them at home. You know, I still have a whole mess of them. So it was really neat. It was just a lot different. Even the spirit was a lot different than what we have now. Students stopped coming, and so they stopped having. Don't get me wrong, I love athletics now here. I mean, I go to as many volleyball games as I can. My daughter plays, so I go to as many as I can. I go to some basketball. As long as I have students that participate, I go see them. I try to go see them play at least once. So all those things, it was just awesome.
How do you feel about the talent show that we don't do anymore?
And I was involved in the talent show, you know, all of that we were involved in. Yeah, and they used to be packed, and we used to have them. And, well, it's not open anymore, but at the old junior high, where the old football field is, we used to have them in the gym there, you know, and it was awesome to have them there because it's a stage set up and everything. Now, of course, we have auditoriums and that are bigger, but it was just more intimate setting, you know, and it was just great to be involved in all that. So definitely it was awesome. It was an awesome time in high school.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Has the school changed since you have been here?
No, it does not look different. The main part of the building, which is A wing, B wing, and D wing, you know, were here when I was here. You know, they have since added another part to A wing, and of course C wing was added. So it's grown. The only difference is that when I was here, I used to look around and there was space. Now there's no space. All around us, there's no space anymore. And another thing that was awesome when I was in high school is we had open campus. So there was no such thing as 30-minute lunches. We had an hour lunch, and we could go wherever we want for lunch. The reason was that we didn't have as many students. Now, we only had one high school, and there was about 1,200 students. Right now, we have over 2,300 students at this campus alone, and Wynn is at about 2,000. So we have triple the amount of students now. Well, we were always 5A.
5A?
Yeah. But now there's a 6A, but at the same time, we're one of the smallest 6A high schools. So we're going up against high schools that have 6,000 students. We're 2,300. So that's a big difference, big difference. But as far as the building goes, you know, C Wing is relatively new, you know, and so, but the rest is pretty simple. It's still the same. just a few added wings. Yeah. Oh, and we used to have where the field house is. We used to have rooms out there, portable buildings. I started out there. That's where I was. I had a portable building out there until I came in here 23 years ago. So this is actually my 23rd year in this classroom. And this classroom was my senior English classroom. And now I teach in it. Yeah.
I am going to show you a picture from a past year and what it looks like now. You can slide it.
Okay, so just so you know, those lockers that you see there in A Wing, they were new my senior year. Those are the ones they gave the seniors. So in 1986-87, those were brand new. And now, they've already taken them down. And there was no such thing as backpacks. Nobody used backpacks. We carried all our books, yeah. Okay? Yeah, it was just, like I said, it was just different. Well, in that respect. Now, everything is wider because they had to take the lockers out because there wasn't enough lockers in the school now for the amount of students that we have, and so they had to take them out, and you all have to carry everything, and that's why now we have class sets so that you all don't break your back every day, carrying books. Yeah, so things have to change because the school can no longer grow. I mean, look at all around us. School can't grow anymore, because there's no space for it to grow. So we have to make other kinds of accommodations for our students.
How would you change Eagle Pass High School?
I don't know about buildings or anything like that. I just think I wish that the spirit was still the same. That you go to a volleyball game and it was packed. You go to a basketball game and it was packed. You go to a football game, it was packed with students. And back then there used to be we have a fight song, right? But there used to be this song, and I remember it clearly that the band used to play it, and it would go dun 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 dun, and everyone would get up in the stands. Everyone would get up and just it was kind of a fight song, and the thing is now, what ends up happening is that winning becomes commonplace, and people get tired. Sometimes you're like, oh yeah, we won, oh, okay. And back then, we didn't win as much. I think my senior year, we won 3 games and we lost 7. And I think the year before that, we had a winning record, but we weren't district champions or anything like that. But the games were still packed. And we looked out in the stands, and there was my mom, My dad wasn't there because he was a coach himself, but there was my mom, and there were all these moms, there was all these people all the time, And now, it's awesome. I go to the volleyball games, and it's great to see moms there, but there's nobody else. The moms are there, And back then, it was just packed. Students went, and they cheered, and now, unfortunately, our students go to football games. When they go to the one against Win, and that's because they want to throw stuff. And that's understandable. I just wish that spirit came back. Everything else, the education is better. Everything is better. Here. I just wish that spirit of being an Eagle came back, because I was an Eagle. I wanted my daughters to be Eagles. I wanted my nieces and my nephew to be Eagles, and they all were, and that brought a sense of pride to us. And that brought a big sense. I mean, look, I had an Eagle painted back there, and as a coach, I have all this up, because, of that Eagle spirit, that I have. I just wish that would come back for everyone, not just for us old school 54-year-olds, I wish that would come back. But the rest, everything else has gotten better. Our kids are awesome. I always say our students are awesome. 95% of our student body, just amazing. It was like that then. It's better now, though. Those things are better now. Y'all may think because, we could go out, to Wendy's, when we were in high school, we could eat and come back and everything, that was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. But accommodations have to be made because now we're so many and we're still in the same school. So, but Yeah, the one thing again that I wish could come back, Eagle Spirit, because that was so awesome. Oh yeah. Yeah, there was one thing, and I was actually talking about this with my wife, and she didn't remember, which was kind of odd because she remembers everything, right? Back in the early 2000s, one of the programs that we had here at school was intramural football, flag football, and it was done at lunch. So the students, they had teams, and they would play at lunch, and they would play now where modern day Sea Wing is. That's where we would play, and they would go out there, and instead of going to eat, we'd have flag football games outside. And then the bell would ring, and it was over, and you'd come to class. Of course, it came to class all sweaty and smelly and everything, but it was just one of those things that the students wouldn't even go eat. They just went to the football games. It kept the peace. It was awesome. And then it just faded away. Mario Garcia, who's the algebra teacher, is the one that ran the league. And he would put it together, and it was awesome. It was awesome. And we would go out there, and we'd make sure everything was running smoothly and everything, and we'd watch the games, and it was awesome to have. And now we don't have those things anymore. It was teacher run, but the students were the ones that played.
Oh, okay.
You know, and they created teams, and like my fourth period, the boys were one team. So it was periods, and that's the way they made teams. So my fourth period boys made a team, and they went out there to play. And then we would go out there and we would pretend to coach them, but we weren't doing anything. We just wanted to watch. But it was really neat. And so those little things like that would be awesome if they could bring them back. And it was 30-minute lunches. So the games lasted 20 minutes maybe. But they had fun. You know, they had fun. But first, it just faded away. You know, it was one of those things, I don't remember when it stopped. It just stopped. You know, it's kind of like a meme that I saw of a bunch of kids riding their bikes, and the meme said something like, that might have been the last time they rode together and they never realized it. And yeah, things just stop. And I wish some of those things didn't. You know, I wish they came back. As a matter of fact, I wish they came back. That would be neat. It would be neat for the students. As long as we're doing something for the students, you can't go wrong. You know what I mean? You can't go wrong with that.